Well, Bush, a lot of the offense this year has gone through Ashton and Emac. Obviously Emac's gone now. Ashton, don't know what his status is. How important is it to find new guys now I guess that's, might be an obvious question, but how important is it to find new guys that you can run the offense through now?
Yeah, it's critical. I think that's the one thing about this offense through the course of the year. There's been certainly some moving parts, even up front at the offensive line position, guys getting healthy, guys getting injured. And so, if there's one thing to that, probably had a little bit of experience over the last 6 to 8 weeks with it, and that's our jobs.
What kind of message does that send when someone like Emac decides to leave at this point in the season?
Yeah, it's certainly tough, and I'll just address it. I think nobody was probably more proud of what Eric accomplished than me. He's come a long way, and from his development through high school and to what he's done. I think the timing is the toughest thing. For me, my heart hurts, and just that we're talking about a guy that's up for the Bolitnikoff. He's 120 yards away from a 1,000-yard season, and those kind of seasons don't come often. You can play football for a long, long time and not have that production. So I got a lot of love for him, but the timing on this one hurts. This is a resilient group. They've been through this, and by the nature of college football, I'm sure it'll happen more and more.
Bush, you're giving Emac more opportunities than just about any OC is giving any receiver in the country. Does it kind of make you shake your head a little bit that that's maybe not what it's about anymore? Emac's 19 targets were #1 in the nation Saturday. You guys are getting him the ball.
Yeah, that is a tough one to swallow for sure. Again, I go back to the targets. I go back to the production. Again, it's those types of years, that don't come very often, and so that's what makes this one hard. We obviously got to move on from that standpoint, but there's no doubt about it makes it hard.
Andy has said a couple times that Madsen is more efficient in passing downs, more efficient on third downs than Talon. What specifically is Madsen doing to be more efficient in those areas?
I just think he's got a great feel for the pocket. That's a strength of his. I think drop back pass is a strength of his in a lot of those situations. Certainly, as you guys know, whether you're in 2nd and 10 plus or you're in 3rd and 7 plus, there's not a huge element of surprise of what the offense is getting ready to do. And I think in some of those situations, when we've gotten to those situations in games, he's been able to go in there and not only make the throws needed, but make vertical runs, which I think he displayed in this last game.
You mentioned those runs. He's not the biggest guy. We've seen him a couple of times put his shoulder down and make those runs. What does that say about him?
I think it says a lot. I think not only the runs that he's making, but the quick decisions, if you will, to push up in the pocket. It seems a lot of times like he's one step ahead. The defense is still dropping while he's already taken off. And so, again, he's a great instinctual player. Certain things there in that last game obviously continue to show that, whether it's knowing when to get the ball to his checkdowns, when to push the ball down the field, and that's certainly a skill set of his that we rely on.
Bush, there's been a lot made about how you guys are using the quarterbacks and when they're coming in and out. What was kind of the starting Talon for one play and then making the switch right there? It's obviously something you went into the game knowing was going to happen. What was kind of the thought? Why not just start Madsen at that point?
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of both, just out of pure honesty. So much respect for what Talon's done, for what he represents, and in a lot of ways too. We were planning on starting with a mid-zone read. We felt that was the right call. We had done it twice earlier in the year and created an explosive play out of it. So maybe there's a mixture of that. Obviously, the way the games have been turning out, Maddox has been out there more, so I'm not trying to avoid that question by any means. But there's so much respect for Talon as well that we really feel they're both going to be out there and they're both going to be in on the opening drive.
I've seen Bolton practice. Looks like he's coming into his own. Nice play on Saturday. With the loss of McAllister, Bush, there's a lot of targets to go around. How eager are some of these receivers, and what's your plan to use a Prince or a Bolt? Like this receiver rotation, are we going to see it look a lot different now that there's no Emac?
Yeah, I think so, certainly. We're certainly excited about what Austin can do. I think the tough part is, and you guys understand this, is like these are guys that have been out for a long, long time, right? So for us, it's like they're back. Let's just throw them in there. Let's get them 65 reps a game. Even for George, I feel from game 1 to game 2, just getting his endurance back. So that's still on our mind with a guy like Austin. But I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, as you know, for a large group of guys. Prince, haven't gotten his feet wet to be ready to step up. Billy Bowens is going to have that chance. Chase Penry is back and healthy. Shea is in the mix. So, again, we're really going to rely on those guys as a collective group, if you will, to carry that load.
How deep is this receiver room going to need to go? I mean, especially because, I mean, even Steph got hurt in that Fresno State game. We don't know what his stash will be.
Yeah, it'll be relatively deep, you know. So, again, Matt Miller's done a great job all year. He really has, in the development of those guys. And with that being said, it is a deep group. I just mentioned, 6 guys there that we feel strong about can go out and make plays, and we'll fully look forward to them doing that.
We saw Penry out there over the weekend. What do you envision as his role in this offense, and what value does his experience add to that room?
Yeah, it's huge. Chase is one of those guys that I keep using that term instinctual, but whether he's inside, whether he's outside, he knows how to play the game. I think whether it's blocking, just the intricacies of route running, the toughness. So in a lot of ways, he's a guy that's a glue guy for us, if you will, in that room. We can put him in a lot of different positions. He's extremely sharp, and he'll be critical for this game.
I know we've talked a lot about his production, but the way you guys have ran the ball at times, you played against quite a few stacked boxes. He was the most targeted receiver in the country on throws over 20 yards. How much do you need that type of presence in order to continue to run the ball, I guess, the way that you have at that position?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we will need it. You guys know that. Anytime you become one-dimensional, it's not a good thing. But again, the reason he was probably the most targeted guy, and with the yardage he was targeted, was because of how tight things were. And again, certainly a strength of Talen's has been throwing the deep ball. And so, again, a lot of this is, right, this is what we're here for, and our main job. You got 3-4 days to kind of put together who's going to be in there, what it's going to look like, and we're looking forward to that challenge.
Maybe it's a dumb question, but you look at where you're at now with 3 games left. You can play guys the 4 games and not have them redshirt or not have it count as a year. I mean, is there any value to getting a guy like C.J. Tiller some action down the stretch here?
CJ's done a tremendous job. He really has. I was just talking to him probably yesterday in my office. Certainly it's been a long year, right? In the quarterback room, certainly there's been a lot of moving pieces, but his development's been awesome. We have a lot to play for too, though. This is certainly an opportunity to play in one of the greatest settings in America on Saturday. We got postseason play on the line, and we're still going to make those decisions based off of what puts this team in the best position to win.
I know you weren't here when he got hurt last year, but Austin, he's sounds like he had some setbacks this summer and early this season. Just to see him get back in there and see him make his first career catch, how nice was that for you?
It's awesome. I think that's the beautiful thing probably of this experience away from the games is the struggle, if you will, and the ups and downs that a college athlete has to go through, and his resiliency to get back and keep chipping away, get his body right, get himself in the position he's in now is something I think I'll always remember him for, and I think something that he'll remember for a long time.
George made a couple of cuts or spin moves that made you go, he might be back. Like, I felt like in that first game back, like, he wasn't quite as explosive as the guy we've seen. And how close do you think he is? And did you kind of, watching him, see those moments against Fresno? Yeah,
certainly there was that one spin move that was really, really impressive there on the left side, and I do. That's I think the biggest thing is naturally for all of us. It's you see a guy get back and you just expect him to be in that midseason form, if you will. And so I think each game that goes by, you're going to continue to see him look more and more maybe how he's looked in the past. But he's another guy that's done a tremendous job getting himself back and ready for this game.
Coach, on the kick return, were you guys in the elevator coming down? I mean, I know how the coaches run to get. Did you even see it?
I had been walking out the door and just kind of heard the noise, so naturally. But it was one of those situations, especially too, because I think the score at the end of the half, and then we were up in the second half. So a lot of times, offensively, you're hurried to get down there and put the second half playing together. So.
Coach, you gotten the punter into your room?
What's that?
Punter.
Just another quarterback, another QB. So.
All right, thank you all.
I appreciate you guys, man.